So we've done the main cast, we've done the main villain. Where else do we go? How about a bitch? StarScream. So, I really like this design for StarScream. I really do. It pulls it off really well. But I hate this goddamn gray. It's not a good color. The best way I've heard it described, grayish. You know, gray with a bit of beige. I'm going to use that from now on, grayish. This is what he should have looked like. This is blockies. Like this silver. Not this crappy grayish. That being said, even in the story, StarScream ends up kind of taking an L. Because by the time we're introduced to him, like late into the story, probably in the third act, he was already hiding. He ran away, him and the elite guard ran away, and were basically doing guerrilla tactics against Sentinel Prime. And then Megatron punked him out. D16. Excuse me. Sometimes I can't remember his designation before he was Megatron. But yeah, he beat him up and just frankly punked him out in front of everyone else. To the point where he was like, if anyone opposes me, get the F out. And they were like, all hail Megatron. Hey, comic book. Don't read it. Apparently it's not worth reading, I've heard. And then he was just there doing StarScream things, including having the G1 annoying as hell voice. Like, that is my least favorite part of StarScream, is the frickin' voice. Like, I thought they were going to do something different. You know? Was it Steve Buscemi? Am I reading to that wrong? But like, he was doing a normal voice for StarScream's first scene, and then Megatron literally chokes him so hard he gives him that freaking raspy original voice, and I just don't like it. I don't like it. If it was like a lesser character that had one or two scenes a season, maybe. But StarScream is the supporting antagonist. Now, he is iconic, sure, but his voice isn't. It's just effing annoying. And that's coming from somebody who can't stand the sound of their own voice. I hate watching my videos back. I'm pretty sure most people do. It's a whole thing where your voice leaving your mouth sounds different than your voice on camera. It's a whole thing. But this design is awesome. Like, it's sleek. It's really freaking cool. Like, here it is compared to the closest G1 StarScream I have. It looks so much better than, honestly, this blocky bastard. I like it. So let's take a look at the head. It's slightly different. He's got angles to his vents and a younger face, I'd say. He looks a bit younger. He's kind of pouting. Like he's trying to be a pretty boy. You know, it is StarScream, definitely. Like, but I'm trying to come up with things to say other than I really like it. Backpack. It's kind of what you expect. It's a bit of the fuselage of the jet with some wings, but like the way these wings become the wings, like here they're just kind of big chunks that don't really look like wings, but the way they transform is pretty interesting. And I forgot to remove one of his accessories. His pathetically small null rays. It's not the size of the null rays that matter, it's how you use them. And he can point them in front and shoot with them. I always find this kind of arm mounting, arms forward shooting looks a bit lame compared to like actually holding a gun. Because what do you pantomime more? Holding a gun? Put that thing away. Or doing this? Basically doing a zombie walk. Or the Frankenstein. Like, it's just not nearly as cool to me. But his legs are very long and very lean. The only thing is he does have a bit of jet mode kibble for heel spurs, but it's fine. Articulation is where this figure unfortunately stumbles. We have to have that talk. Because the second pictures of this figure were released, people were already talking about some things. So the head is on a ball joint. Yep. You can rotate. You can look up and down. It's also on a series of hinges. So he can look like that. I'd say so Megatron can choke him, but Megatron doesn't have a force choke hand. I should grab Blocky's Megatron. He can go full peacock posture. And of course he can use it to look further down, look all the way up. It's a good series of neck joints. It does actually have in. Shoulders are ball jointed. They can go forwards, they can go all the way up. They can't go back further than the wings. Although you can kind of get the wings out of the way, so it can go back that far, and go out that far. The wings themselves are on hinges and ball joints, so you can get rotation, in and out, all kinds of things if you need it. This other piece is also on a hinge. I like how the hinge looks like another gun. That's a cool bit of design on this version of StarScream. You do get a bicep swivel. It's a bit tight. You do get an elbow bend. No wrist swivel, unfortunately. That can pop off. But also, if you're going outwards, if you want, it can go up there. You can either keep it locked to the shoulder or stick it out there if you prefer that look. Nothing at the waist. Sad. Hips are ball jointed and they can kick super high. They can go back that far. They can go out almost full. They get stopped a bit by the angle of the hip, but they can go most of the way. Thigh swivel. Very deep knee bend. Like almost double jointed range. You could even get the little blue panel out of the way if for some reason you wanted even more knee bend. But is that worth the price to pay? Probably. No ankle pivot. What is this, a toy from 2010? No ankle pivot. He has a bit of a toe joint. It's barely anything. It doesn't even look very good. And the heel can fold up, but yeah. I'm not a fan of going back to predominantly ball jointed articulation. It can work in some ways, but in other ways, like, you get no ankles and no waist? It's all for the transformation. Which, let's face it, is not a good sacrifice in this case. If it were a better transformation with a more solid alt mode, it might be worth the sacrifice. In this case, it's not. Before we get to that, let's show him off with the previous review. Nope. Floppy ankle Alita. There she goes. Deal with that later. Sentinel Prime. Bumblebee. Optimus Prime. His nemesis, Megatron. And we do get one more accessory that he didn't even use in the movie. This. Now, it is a gun. I don't know where it came from. Maybe from concept art. Or you can split it in half, and the pieces look like smaller versions of a bigger gun. Like this one, with the barrel pointed this way, just looks backwards. And then this one looks exactly the same, minus a bottom piece. Like he's shooting forwards and backwards, all Bugs Bunny style. Now, this part does nothing in vehicle mode. This piece actually kind of stores in vehicle mode. It goes right here. Actually, it's gone. You can't see it anymore. So, let's transform him. Oh boy. So, first thing you want to do, unpeg these red sections and fold this whole thing out. And these are going to rotate all the way down, and we'll tab back in when we're done. This section folds entirely up and tabs into the dark gray. Believe it? Yes. It tabs in right there. And the head slides in, and the main sort of fuselage, kind of, whatever you want to call it, tabs back in. So it tabs right in. And then these sections just sit there. Now, to the nose cone, if it is a nose cone, you want it extended. It's going to hinge like that. This piece is also going to fold out, so it lines up like that, and it has a long beak, so to speak. I'm on fleek. Now the wings. The wings are cool because they rotate, fold this part out, then they spin on the ball joint, and they kind of rest under the red section while tabbing in right here. And you can adjust the tip however you want, like that. That's pretty cool. And you do the same thing on the other side. So you have two wings. What's not cool is what the legs do. So open up the blue sections, and we're going to hinge them forward all the way. And they will tab in to the hip. There's tabs on each hip. And then they sort of lock together. And now what you're supposed to do is take these gray heel spurs, tab them in right there, and the blue sections that were the backs of the shins are going to try to hook into them, and then the arms are going to tab into those. Now, in theory, it works. But we don't live in theory. We live in reality. Supposedly. This could just be a simulation. But what we perceive as to be reality is you line them up, or you try your damn best to, like thus, and then they're supposed to go like that. And it does that while removing itself from its connection. If you want it to not leave that pin, it won't do it. It won't connect into the, or it'll just come off. Too many pieces on this figure just come off. Like the G1 toy with all its removable wings and hands, and too many pieces just come off. So now the other side, for me, kind of does it at least a little bit better. Like that. And then the arm tabs in. And the foot will peg in like that. Now that works kind of on that side, but somehow they managed to F it up on the other side. So as you saw, it likes to remove itself from that little mounting right here. So if it doesn't, it can't reach the opening. See, it has to do that to reach up there. The other one doesn't have to do that. And also, it unpegs the booster from where it's supposed to peg in. So you think you have one situated properly, and then you try and put the other one in place, and it just doesn't go. So you just have to deal with it being out of its mounting slightly. And then you plug the hand in, hopefully. Or you try and plug this in, and it won't go. It just immediately unplugs itself and also unplugs the booster. So we have one last thing we have to do. We have to take the gun and we have to move the shoulder panels so that the guns line up and the null rays line up, and this gun is in the middle of them. Now it can be confusing as hell given the design of this gun, the over-engineered design of it, but there's a little notch right there at the top that's rectangle, that's designed to fit that little rectangle tab right there. And theoretically it works. Again, well, it does practically work this time. It's just kind of confusing. So you have to get it just right. And you also have to make sure these tab in. Oh, they're not even... I forgot to do one thing. Fold them out like that so they stay connected to the shoulder block. That is how they're supposed to look. Like that. So now it can be easier to figure out which way this gun plugs in. It's still not easy, mind you, but it goes like that. And then these, you try and get them to connect to each other, and also hide in the legs. You want it looking like that. But there is your jet mode. Actually, it's not, because the wing and then the booster isn't tabbed in properly, and then it's as annoying as his G1 voice is to listen to. Like, it's got some cool ideas, and honestly, I really like the design of this Tetrajet mode. It does it a hell of a lot better than the Siege one did. Like, it actually incorporates bits of him. It's not just... Oh, wait, it is just most of him crumpled up under the plain bits. But, like, I don't know. The wings transform. Kind of cool. The jet canopy folding out of the chest is actually really cool. I will admit it took me quite a few tries to fold it back in correctly, because I couldn't figure out where the pieces go. But that frickin' the legs, they bug me to no end, and they're just right there. It's unfortunate with a Tetrajet that there's almost always going to be robot bits just hanging underneath it. You kind of get the same thing with Silverbolt. Not Beast Wars Silverbolt, G1 Silverbolt. No matter what toy they make of him, most of his robot mode is just hiding under the plane. Which is why I haven't picked up the Age of the Primes one yet. Because I'm not 100% sold on it. Although I probably will buy it at some point just to make the dang combiner. This jet mode. It's solid, theoretically, as solid as theoretical physics. And like, I like the things it does. It has an opening canopy. That's cool. It has space for gun storage. And it doesn't feel floppy. It feels the complete opposite of Miss Floppy Ankle. There are way too many bits of it that either come off, or annoy me, or just don't want to lock in properly. So, I guess we'll do some size comparisons. Megatron. Bumblebee. Optimus Prime. Sentinel Prime. They do look like they're part of a squad, which I guess was true at one point. Elita Nun. NG1 StarScream. Earthrise StarScream. So, I like this toy. It gets on my nerves. Transforming this toy is the equivalent of your mom telling you to stop playing with your, you know what, like, stop fiddling with it! It refuses to. But if you're a fan of this design and you prefer one that actually transforms, you might want to pick it up. It's a really good StarScream design. If a pain in the ass toy. Kind of like the character. How unfortunately fitting. I think that's all for this year for TF1. Because I believe the next releases are next year. So we look forward to Alpha Trion and Arachnid. But I think it was a pretty good year. I actually bought the movie, I watched it. And I have this mess of toys that are on my couch cushion right here. Like yeah. We need a sequel, damn it. We need a sequel. So until next time. Bye. Keep it weird.